Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Wednesday night. Tonight, we'll be giving you the coverage of the WSSR VRS Cup Series Season 11. Has been an incredible season so far. We have gone through the regular season. We've gone through 3 rounds of the playoffs, and we are down to our final round, our final 2 races of the season. Welcome to the Season 11 Championship round of the WSSR VRS Cup Series. We start our championship round journey here at Richmond, a short track that drivers have been trying to get a handle on. It's 3/4 of a mile in length, and it's a track that's got a lot of different varieties. Drivers are dealing with hard bankings, the transitions off the exit of the corner, banking on the front stretch, and all coming around of can you search for the grip to keep the car underneath you. The exit of turn 2 is going to be difficult. The exit of turn 4 is where you need to make the best moves. And drivers all throughout tonight are going to try to outbrake one another. But we've made it here to the championship round. 4 drivers will be entering in for a chance to hoist the championship. 3 have already done it in the past. We've got Larry Yingling with the most championships with 3 entering tonight. You've also got Vincent Sora with 2 championships. John Forbes, your reigning and defending champion coming into this season. And the 1 driver, Gavin Rogers, still searching for his first win. He's been one of the most consistent drivers all throughout this season. But can he find his very first championship? Those 4 drivers enter into tonight. A little bit of a smaller field, and a couple of other small changes have entered into this evening. With it being the championship round, all drivers enter into this round with 0 bonus points. Everyone is on an equal slate. They start out with 5,000 points. Also, with the change, no more stage racing. We are done with it for the rest of this season. For tonight and next week at Homestead, it's all about finding the finish, finding the pole, getting extra bonus points, and finding all the small little advantages to make sure that you find yourself with the most points after tonight and next week. We're excited to give you again all the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me this evening later on, we'll be running some double duty, is Robert Moyer Jr. But tonight's race, so impactful. It's going to be 200 laps in total, no fast repairs, 4 extra sets of tires in pit road, and currently 3 of your championship 4 drivers are in the top 3 during practice. Vincent Sora is top of the board by 2/1000ths of a second over Gavin Rogers. John Forbes is 2/100ths of a second off of Vincent Sora, and the driver that's lingering and needing to find a little bit more speed, it's the 67 Larry Yingling. We'll see how well he can recover and get back into the mix, but it certainly is going to be a fun race for us to call up in the booth. We're excited for it. Richmond, a track that usually brings out a lot of cautions. It's been a tough one to stay green, but with the smaller field, the way this car's been reacting, I think we've got a chance to stay clean and green tonight. As we will bring in our second in the booth, Robert Moyer Jr. with us. Robert, this has been a season of a lot of highs and lows. The 2 dominant drivers has been John Forbes and Vincent Sora, which both of them, this track could be one of their best.
That is right. Well, thank you, Sam, for that great introduction, but that's right. Here we go. Richmond, well, we had a long season, and now it's time to, crown a champion after tonight and next week. It's going to be very interesting to see how it goes. But like you said, first thing they need to do is tackle Richmond. Short track racing, very fun racing, and we'll be able to see what this car is going to do here. It's not going to be an easy race, but like you said, with the short amount of cars here, it should be some good racing that we'll see here. But what we've seen in practice as we go into qualifying with them top 3 in the playoffs, and Larry, like you said, lingering trying to find speed. I'm sure he'll find it throughout the race, but we'll see what he can do here in qualifying.
Yeah, I'm not too worried for Larry. The one thing I am worried about is if you're not in the pole position to start this race off, you might be in a huge disadvantage. The driver who has gotten the pole has won 3 out of the 4 times we've ran here in the past. The only season that didn't happen was season 4, and Vincent Sora took the win, and he started second. So you got to start up front in this front row if you want to be a real contender to win here tonight. But if you're Larry Yingling, a win doesn't mean your championship hopes are over, but it certainly makes things a lot more difficult heading into Homestead next week. And Larry as well has seen success here. He won the inaugural race back in season 2, the first time they ran Richmond in the WSSR VRS Cup Series. He also led the most laps back in season 7, 145 of 164. And that's another stat that I was seeing that was kind of ridiculous to look at, Robert, entering tonight. Drivers that lead the most laps here this evening, they lead almost over 140 to 180 laps. It's only about 20 laps that driver who leads the most doesn't lead during a race. And it's going to be a lot of dominance expected here tonight if you're that driver up front. The question is for everyone else that's behind that leader, how well can you try to set up for a chance to go for a pass, or are you setting up with strategy calls, taking tires, not taking tires, taking 2? I think that's going to be the fun factor that we keep our eyes on throughout this evening, as Zach Hall currently top of the board for the 32 machine with a 21.480 time for himself. But John Forbes, no surprise, right to the top is the 1 machine.
The 1 machine puts it right on top. But yeah, like you were saying there, Sam, it's going to be interesting, like you said, with that stats, that you said, that's very interesting stats, to look at, dominate and get in front. And not only that, we all know, with the new update with this car, clean air is key. So if you do get out there and get on the pole, you can use that dirty air to, keep the cars behind you. So like you said, the cars behind that leader, they're going to have to, fight and struggle and try to get around and get some clean air and try to make the passes. So, it's going to be interesting to see here tonight. Do we got a car that's just going to dominate, or are we going to have strategy calls? And, only time will tell here very shortly.
As drivers are finishing up qualifying, we've got 1 minute and 53 seconds left. Currently, it's still John Forbes Jr. top of the board, 0.02 of a second back is Vincent Sora. Now make it exactly 200 seconds back is Jared Talmadge as he finishes up his time of the 27. Talmadge has been on a great run, just trophy hunting, no longer a part of our championship round. Those only being John Forbes, Gavin Rogers, Vincent Sora, and Larry Yingling. And Larry Yingling just hitting the track and goes right, trying to get up to the top of the board for himself. A slow first lap currently as Gavin Rogers top of the board for the 75, a 21.4 for himself. Yingling, slow first attempt. Second attempt, he's hoping for some magic. He needs to be at least in the top 5 and across the line. It's good enough for the top 10, but not a top 5. It's 8th place for the 67. Thomas Green will bounce into 3rd position. So Vincent Sora, who's also had a lot of great success here. He is the last driver to win at this track of the WSSR back in season 9. He's going to have a lot of trouble. He's got to move forward starting in 5th position. Vincent Sora also won here back in season 4. We'll see if he can make a three-peat out of this run as Ollie Fonseca, Ross Tatum, not going to put a time down. All the other 18 drivers did complete a time as Yingling's just out there getting a little bit more practice in before we get to our warm-up.
Yeah, why not, right? You know, you qualify P8, now he's just giving the extra laps. You know, try to figure out, I mean, if the game's going to give you, or the sim's going to let you, you know, do this, why not, right? I mean, it's just extra practice, and I'm sure he's driving the car really hard just to see how these, you know, tires are going to react.
Waiting for the reaction, but it's Gavin Rogers that's going to find himself with his very first pole of the season. I think that's probably another shocking stat to say. Ever since we got the update with this vehicle about 2-3 months ago, Gavin Rogers has not found the early pace. This will be his first pole of season 11 when first time that he showed up in the WSSR VRS Cup Series, he was the pole master. Now he's finally getting back into the groove of things, and that is the perfect time to be starting up front for the first race of the championship round. As we are entering into our warm-up period, drivers will have 5 minutes for any last bit of practice. They need to go get a drink of water, go to the bathroom before this 200-lap race. This is their time, and this also gives us time to take a look at our point standings and schedule of how it's been this season to set us up into this scenario. Like I said at the top of the broadcast, this round is 2 races. It starts off even. All the bonus points you've collected that have helped you get to this point are scrapped. Everyone starts in equal footing for our top 4. Everyone else, they're just enjoying the racing time. I love the fact, Robert, that we get to see the top 4 that made it to this championship round. They get to just duel it out and say whoever's the best of the best for these final 2 races gets the championship.
Yeah, you know, looking at these point standings here, what catches my eye is Rogers, no wins. Larry, no wins. Very interesting. These guys did it by strategy and working their way through the races, you know, at the beginning of the playoffs to get themselves into the final here to battle for a championship. So that's a very interesting stat right there, you know, to have.
Yeah,
not have.
It's
whatever
crazy.
You want to call it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy the fact that neither one of them have wins. I mean, Larry was part of the history books of having some of the most wins in this league. He was in the top 5 for the longest time. Gavin Rogers, he was really mounting on finding pace in recent seasons, but it's been a lot of bad luck for the 75. Just strategies have not worked out for him to get into victory lane, and Yingling struggling to find some of that help. But the 2 other drivers that made it into this championship round, John Forbes, Vincent Sora, they've been on a tear this playoffs. Vincent Sora was winning the first race of each round, except for the last one where John Forbes swept that round of 8. But if you look at the total of both of those drivers, out of the 18 races that have been ran so far, they've won half of those races. That is crazy on top of itself of how good John Forbes and Vincent Sora have been, which this kind of transcends different leagues as well. We saw this in the ISRC Truck Series in their finale. It was between these 2 drivers, and they carried it over here to Wednesday night.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can carry the championship and raise that, you know, trophy here Not tonight, but as you can see, we got Richmond here tonight, and we round out the season here at Homestead, which is going to be a very interesting race with these cars, the way they handle, the way they drive. That is very interesting ending of the season here with this car. And I know, Sam, you have a little bit of history. Well, I don't want to say history, but you just got done racing this track, what, 2 weeks ago at Homestead?
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago. It was about 3 or 4 weeks ago that we raced with the current update of iRacing. It's a loose track. It's going to be searching for clean air and for spaces of staying away from the seams and getting too loose. I think that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's going to be interesting on how it evolves into next week, but it all really starts here tonight. How do you set the tone for this championship round? Like I said, this track heavily swaying towards the side of, if you have the pole, you're most likely going to win, or if you can find your way to be up front early on in this race, you've got a chance to win this race at the end. But cautions are going to be looming. We've had ranging from 13 cautions being thrown during a race all the way down to just 4. It is a wide swing where we're going to see if drivers stay clean or not. We'll see how well they can keep it together. We also want to say thank you to the primary sponsors that have helped out throughout season 11 of the WSSR Cup Series. First and foremost, we want to say thank you to VRS Virtual Racing School, as they are the title sponsor for season 11. It's been so amazing to see such a top-end sponsor that's all about helping drivers develop to be the best that they could be on the virtual track or beyond, and seeing them be a part of a league that has such top-tier talent out there on track. We also want to say thank you to GTR Simulators. If you want to go get yourself your own racing simulator and feel like you're racing in your own racing rig at home, they've got static systems where you can just, that's your rig, it's going to stay there where it is, or you can have portable moving racing rigs. You can go to gtrsimulator.com and see what they have. We also want to say thank you to Trophy Smack and Sim Precision Prints. We'll talk more about both of those and all the other sponsors later on in this race, because warm-up is done. That means we are getting prepared for 200 laps at Richmond here this evening to start out the first race of the championship round of season 11. Thank you so much to everyone that joined with us throughout the season and are here with us for tonight's race. We're excited to give you again all the broadcasting coverage on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name's Sam Dyer. With me is Robert Moyer Jr., and here is your starting grid for Richmond this evening. Top of the board for the first time this season, it's the 75 of Gavin Rogers. He needs to make a statement here early to prove that he is a factor heading into Homestead next week, but to his outside, one of the heavy favorites, the past champion from last season and trying to go back-to-back, trying to join the history books of so many others, John Forbes will be to the outside. Thomas Green going to be behind them in third place. In fourth, we've got the 27 of Jarrett Talmadge. Vincent Sora will be in fifth position for the 51, with Brian McCann in sixth. Seventh is Zach Hall in the 32 with Larry Yingling in eighth. Ninth is the 25 of Cody Reed with Brian P. Johnson finishing off our top 10. Cedric Hunter will be starting back in 11th position with Ryan Kelly in the 3 machine in 12th. Munatsi Major makes it out on course for the 82 in 13th position. Colby DiCarlo gonna have to start at the end of the line with a EOL penalty. He will be starting in 14th, so he qualified 14th. GT Rizzari qualifies in 15th. Nicholas Renner also will have end of the line penalty for the 76th, as he will take the qualifying position of 16th. Ben Kinney 17th, Justin Malarkey 18th. Ali Fonseca is going to have a drive-through penalty for the 24, but he'll qualify in 19th, and Ross Tatum in 20th. 20 drivers make it into tonight's race, so a smaller field than what we've seen before. And Robert, obviously we feel like that could help with caution counts, but with Richmond, you never know. With 20 drivers, we could still have 20 cautions.
Well, Sam, I don't know if you want me to drive to California. I'm bopping you in the side of the head for saying that. 20 cautions with 20 drivers? Oh my goodness.
It's possible.
Yeah, let's hope not. But yeah, I mean, again, this track is it looks easy to drive as long as you give room, but it can come up and bite you really fast. And not only that, we'll give a shout out to iRacing real quick too. This is their new scan. 2025 scan here in iRacing, all new graphics, all new everything that they just did for us here. So we'll see how the track looks, as we roll into actually nighttime, because we are in late afternoon here. So that's going to play a key factor there too, Sam, as it gets colder out there and the track temperature goes down. These cars are going to handle a little bit different, and tire wear is going to handle a little bit different.
Yeah, I gotta say also, we're just giving thanks to iRacing. iRacing it with their most recent update have given us brand new UI system, so we're able to see some small things that we weren't able to see before, and we're able to see our in real time for us and in sim time a lot easier. In sim time, drivers are racing on the August 18th scheduled day of how Richmond was during that time, and they are in sim at 7:48 p.m. So they're dealing with those transitional periods. We'll see how that affects the drivers, but hey, we got a 200 laps, the big change for this field. This season, we've ran stage races all throughout the season, but for these final 2 races, there are no stage racing. If we stay clean and green, we can go from the very first green flag to the checkered. We'll see how well the field wants to play nice here early on, though. Gavin Rogers going to be the control vehicle for the 75. John Forbes in the 1, going to be to his outside, trying to get a good launch. It's going to be the 1 machine, and he will take off and go. John Forbes trying to get the lead position early. It's so important to have that clean air to control this race all night long. And Forbes, Rogers, they stay side by side down into turn number 3. Rogers with the advantage. Thomas Green trying to follow in suit as they exit at the turn number 4. Rogers is clear. Lap 1 is led. Bonus point to the 75. That's 2 of them for the pole. That's for leading the lap on top of that. And that's where those 2 bonus points come from. And now in lead position, here we go, Robert. This is where it's important. Rogers needs to save these tires and block every run possible.
That is correct, and we'll see what he can do here as he does take the lead here. And then we got Thomas Green there battling John Forbes right now as Rogers puts down the fastest lap of the race so far here. So, yeah, I mean, he like we said, get out front, stay out front. He's got them bonus points, and, the other factor too, Sam, is if you can't win the race, try to get as many bonus points as you can and get your great finish, to roll into Homestead. So, we'll see how this plays out. But right now, it looks like that 31 is hunting him down.
Yeah, Thomas Green, I mean, you're in a position, if you're the 31 and the 27, Burn a Nightmare Fuel, you're not racing for a championship, but you certainly can set up your teammates to take a championship. And Gavin Rogers is going to be rolling high, not defending this push by the 31, and that could be a major mistake. Just giving up that position as easy as he did. I understand Rogers wants to protect his tires, but you can't just give up the lead as easy as he just did, because Thomas Green, he may never give it back to you.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, if you're the leader, you're not going to give it back. That is a goal, but we also got, back here right beside John Forbes is Vincent Sora in that 51. He's working his way up through. So right now we got three-way battle with the playoff drivers right now, trying to battle it out and get positions there.
If you're just joining us, the way that this championship round works, we have the 4 drivers that made it to this championship round. That's Gavin Rogers, John Force, Vincent Sora. Those 3 drivers run 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. The 4th driver to make it was Larry Yingling back in 7th place. They've got 2 races tonight at Richmond, next week at Homestead. It is the collective points that you grab from both races. Whoever has the most points of the 4 drivers, that's who wins the championship. And right now, Gavin Rogers doing everything in his power to hold back Vincent Sora, John Forbes, who've been in complete control this season as competitors against the whole entire field. But when it's this close, you only have 2 races. You have to minimize your mistakes. They've got to be careful if their rivalry of being teammates and rivals might trickle over and hurt them, as Yingling still in line, and this is what we're expecting a lot of, single file racing. And the only way you're going to make a pass is if the driver ahead of you makes a mistake or just gives up the spot. It doesn't like having the pressure right behind you. Still side by sides, John Forbes and Vincent Sora. They continue to fight on, and Robert, I think the biggest surprise, they've been side by side since the start of this race. It's been 10 laps. How are their tires still holding on? I don't know for John Forbes, because I know Vincent Sora, he's in a very comfortable spot. He's okay with running the inside lane near that yellow line.
Well, that's it. I mean, tires is going to be the key here tonight too. And, you know, how's this working out for John Forbes? You know, we know that the top line, you can see them, they're still side by side, and the top line's going to keep you there. But we also know the faster you go, the more tire wear you get. But now we got Rogers now. He's looking underneath, trying to take the lead, and man, oh man, they got some good racing going up here in the top 4.
Gavin Rogers needs to put the pressure on. He gave up the lead position to Thomas Green. I didn't like that call, but if he's able to get it back here just after a few laps of giving up that position, I'll wash my hands, take that comment away, as Thomas Green, not able to keep his foot in the throttle, gives up the spot, and Rogers right back to the point. Green is trying to fight strong on the outside. He cannot allow this 75 to just take off and go, but he does. Green has to follow, and the drivers battling for third are still side by side, but Forbes is in a losing battle. The one is creeping his way further and further back to be an absolute 4th place position.
Yeah, I think eventually, if you're John Forbes here, you're going to have to make a decision, Sam. You know, how much do you keep on battling like this? Or, you know, do you just give it up and, you know, take it, basically, like, I like call it, you know, take a chill pill. But right now, I mean, what are we going on? 15 laps of these guys side by side now? And I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're teammates, correct?
They are teammates, teammates from Nightmare Fuel and Nightmare Fuel drivers. I mean, all 4 of them are in a row. You got Thomas Green in 2nd, John Forbes, Vincent Sora side by side in 3rd and 4th, and their 4th member of the Nightmare Fuel team, Jared Talmadge, running in 5th place. If you're Gavin Rogers, staying ahead of them is perfect, but do not fall 1 or 2 positions into this mixture of this four driver monster that's been dominating this season between the 4 of them.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to get into that, but we're still watching these, what battling here as the sunset is going down and the night and the lights did click on here, Sam. So track temperature eventually should be, or even just air temperature. I don't think the track temperature will change, you know, as these cars build more heat into the system on the track. But these guys right here, man, this is unbelievable racing, and man, I just don't know what to say. I'm just having fun watching them.
It's hard to look away. There is another pairing of drivers that are staying side by side that I'm getting slightly more concerned about, but it looks like they might get cleared on the position they're at. That's going to be for 11th place, Brian P. Johnson. He's been dealing with lap-down driver Nicholas Renner, and Renner has finally gotten clear, but lap-down drivers are in the mixture. You've got Nicholas Renner, Ali Fonseca. Both were given drive-through penalties to start this race off. They both are currently 1 lap down, battling for who's going to get that lucky dog spot. Currently, it's Ali Fonseca with that position, but the 76 was getting a little bit loose and out of control at times. Luckily, he got past and is no longer in trouble. As you see further behind, Minazzi Major starting to slowly creep backwards. But still, I mean, impressive to watch John Forbes and Vincent Sora have their back and forth. They finally have gotten in line. It's John Forbes that was able to take that position away after saving those tires just for a couple of runs and finally just gassing it up off the exit of the corner. But looking at this run right now, Robert, Thomas Green, that last lap wasn't faster than Gavin Rogers, but you can kind of get a sense this 31 getting a little slightly better runs off the exit of turn 2. For Rogers, he's got the better exit at turn number 4, and that's what's helping this 76 keep this lead position, slowly building it out to a lead.
Yeah, well, he's slowly, like you said, building it out. But, you know, go back to John Forbes real quick. I just want to know, I wish we could be in his head right now. How bad did he burn off them tires running that high line? I mean, yeah, he got around Vincent Sora, but now here we go again. Vincent is getting that run off of turn 4. A lot stronger than the one here right now, Sam. So I'm sure this is going to help, you know, John Forbes down there on the bottom. You know, he's going to get his tires, you know, cooled down running that line. But again, how bad did he, you know, beat them up to do this?
I mean, I think that last lap, right when you started that statement, it kind of showed perfectly when John Forbes wasn't able to get down to that yellow line. through 3 and 4 that last go around. Now, this current lap, he was able to keep it low and defend and block, but through 1 and 2 there, it was just a little bit higher. The consistency seems to be fading away because he's overworked those tires. He's not able to continue to run the same momentum and spot every time, and now it's given the opening for Vincent Sora to go low. The only problem with Vincent Sora's racing style is that when he needs to make a pass immediately, sometimes it's not as quick as he would like, as Vincent Sora and John Force both run up the track through 1 and 2, forcing the issue into the 1, but it's going to give a chance for the 51 here down in turn number 3. The better spacing, positioning, and pace going to give to Vincent Sora, but they're starting to both lose a little bit of ground on grip, and it's pushing up randomly on if it's going to be through 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. I think they're both really struggling to find the consistency on how to really get fully by one another, or do you continue battling as Gavin Rogers has built the gap up almost to a second ahead of the one machine?
Well, and that's what he likes to see here, as he's starting to pull away, and he's got the clean air, which we all know with this new update with this car. We've been talking about for weeks on weeks, and if you watch any other broadcasters out there, you know, you get in this clean air, Sam, and the car just handles totally different compared to what these guys are here battling. And I don't want to keep the camera on this battle, but this has been going on for almost 26 laps now. So this is crazy. And I know back there in that 27 of Jared, he's probably thinking, well, guys, what do you want to do? As there we just seen John Forbes scrape the wall a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of scraping of the wall, and starting to see some other drivers attempting to make some big moves. Gavin's trying to find a way to go. He continues to build the gap over Thomas Green and the rest of the field. You can see Zach Hall, he's now thrown his hat into the cap of a driver to watch out for here as this run has progressed on. The long run is going to be a factor that we're going to see a big swing. I'm assuming we're going to see here, because I'm looking at the pace of drivers. Zach Hall, that last lap, was the fastest driver on track. The second fastest, Larry Yingling in 8th place. The drivers that were further on back that have been kind of letting the front runners pull away, they're starting to take the advantage of having better tires. It's enabling them to run lower, use that slight sliver of clean air to get by the drivers. And here's now going to be the help. Zach Hall right in the back bumper of the 51 of Vincent Sora. Hall's going to help Sora get by Forbes. The question is, how much tires will be left under this 32 once he's able to get by this wall? But currently, the wall still stands. It's Forbes, Sora going nowhere.
I was going to say, Zach's like he wants to push the 51 by the 1, but it looks like the 51 and the 1 don't want to let Zach by, even though, you know, this is helping Zach, you know, with that, you know, with 32 car there, you know, save tires, because he's not pushing it as hard, because he can't push it hard, right? You got a wall in front of you, so you basically got to ride. Well, you're riding, you're saving tires, right? So, I mean, this is good for Zach, but at the same time, you want to work your way by these guys and get up into the clean air, but unfortunately, he's stuck right now.
Yeah, and with Hall being stuck, it's just a frustrating march to watch. And with the constant side-by-side racing for Forbes, the question is, how well will he have the accelerate button working for himself? I am curious if we can hop in forward or get in the cockpit view of this 32 and get a sense of what his gears are like, trying to get through the corner. I know a lot of talking points. Drivers were testing staying in 5th, others were shifting down into 4th, and you can see here for Hall, staying in 4th for majority of the lap. He's only shifting up on the front straightaway, and this is some classic Richmond racing. I was curious on whose real advantage was there going to be if we compare to shifting and not shifting, and for Hall, it just seems to be a little slightly loose off the exit of the corner because of that extra torque with being in a smaller, dropping down into 4th gear. But man, is it helping him off the exit of the corner?
Yeah, I mean, he is getting a run off of 4, and I think, you know, previous of me, you know, racing this track and kind of knowing now, I haven't raced it with these cars, but you can see getting out of 2 and getting out of 4, if you can control that slide and the gears like we just seen right there, we got John Forbes. Oh no, we go, Zach gets loose. Oh, I thought we were going to go 3 wide there, Sam.
Yeah, we can bounce it back out to the outside view now. As you can see, everyone getting single filed out. Larry Yingling trying to figure out how to get by the 27 to Jared Tallmadge. Just no spacing to work with. But as these drivers continue to battle on, we don't need to switch over to them. But I'll let you know, Robert, our leader, Gavin Rogers, he has not shifted. The 75 is just staying in 5th gear all the way around, while everyone in this pack that we see in front of us, they have been shifting. That's the major difference we're seeing right now as Ben Keeney exiting off the grass as he was on the inside through the front stretch. We continue to stay clean and green as Vincent Sora gets passed by Hall, and now the 51 is in the clutches, but trouble further on back, caution, and it's Brian P. Johnson in the 28.
No. Oh, season this not the way you wanted to come down to.
Not at all, and it was kind of the pairing I was expecting to have issues at some point here tonight. Drivers were trying to accelerate up, and looks to be contact between the 28 and the 21. I mean, the 76, excuse me, with the 21 right behind him.
Well, we'll see here. We got the replay here, and we'll see the 21 right there, the McConey setup shop machine coming down in that Ford, and we'll see what happens here as we go looking almost 3 wide here. We got Renner there in that 76. Oh boy, hang on. Here it goes, Sam. I believe it happened here in turn 1. Exiting.
Going off the exited turn 2, which is Renner trying to hug down. Johnson creeps up, and there's the contact and the spin around with Manazzi major hard contact to the outside wall, and that will be our first caution of the day. 39 laps in, and this actually comes with a weird timing of the caution because we weren't at lap 50, where I think some drivers would prefer to have their first pit stop be just for tire wise to really feel comfortable. But expecting all drivers 4 tires and fuel, but who might risk 2 tires to get that track position that is going to be so key. We saw there it took, before the drivers that had fresh rubber, there's some 2-tire calls. Jared Tallmadge, Larry Yingling taking track position over 4 tires.
Wow, what a call. And not only that, to get track position and there's no stage here, so we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I mean, that's all about track position there. Now we're going to see how 2 tires versus 4 tires. This is going to be an interesting call here, Sam, because we know this track can wear the tires pretty bad after a while. It's not an easy track, so we'll have to see here what these guys, how many laps it takes, or can they keep using the dirty air and keeping these guys behind. Only time will tell, but we'll know probably within the next 10 to 15 laps, I would say, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I would say around there. I think with taking the 2-tire call, they're going to be at risk in these first initial 2 to 3 laps of someone really pouncing it and going into attack mode to try to force the issue. But everyone's on cold tires. I think, like you said, after 15 laps, that's when we're going to really see how much wear was put on the Jared Tallmadge and Larry Yingling's left side tires. Once everything gets heated back up. But I'm liking the call. I honestly think taking 2 tires, getting the track position, is really going to help Jared Tallmadge and Larry Yingling out, and it puts Gavin Rogers in a tough spot where he's not in that front row. He doesn't have just one driver to beat. He's got a lot of competitors to get by. Here's our weather as so far in tonight's race, as we are almost a quarter of the way through. We got the air temperature being 78 degrees, track temp 84. That's helping out with a little bit of this wear of drivers having extra grip on the track. The wind's fluctuating high and low around 5 miles per hour. Not too bad. Humidity's a little bit high, but I don't think that's influencing too much. But the field is ready. Top 2 took 2 tires. Rest of the field took 4. How well does Gavin Rogers get through traffic? Or will it be someone else that can sneak their way forward? His green flag is on the air. Good stop, good take off and go for Tallmadge. Yingling gets to the outside quickly. And now it's side by side happening for that 3rd and 4th place position. Thomas Green, Gavin Rogers, they're back at it again. Behind them, John Forbes, Zach Hall, and Vincent Sora have their own fight. But for Gavin Rogers, he falls. Oh no, Thomas Green! Hard contact for the 31! And oh no, multiple drivers involved in this one. Brian McCann, heavy damage. And Thomas Green is out of here.
Wow.
What a moment in a blink of an eye. just explosion happens for the 31.
Right. We'll have to see exactly what happened here, Sam, as they go down into turn, 3 and 4 here. Coming out. Hey, he got loose. Oh, wow.
And Vincent Sora, massive front end collision for the 51.
Oh, no.
As that was a massive, just got loose in a blink of an eye, overcorrects. And that is luckily for Vincent Sora, not a race ender, but some major damage he's going to have to work on throughout this race, unless he got graced by the iRacing gods in netcode. You didn't get as much damage as we might see here. As another look at it, 51 just trying to run his own lane. 31 will just snap to the outside, right back in front of him. Zach Hull also gained a good piece of it, and a few others. And Vincent Sora, heavy front right damage.
I don't know.
It's a tough one. I mean, he has no required damage flag, but the optional is going to be massive to work with.
Yeah, that's going to be some time sitting in pit road. I can tell you that. And that's a playoff driver. This is not the way you wanted it to start. And wow, what an interesting wreck that was. That thing just snapped.
Yeah, and that's the way this next-gen car kind of works, is you might feel a loose sensation pop up in your hands, as most drivers that run in iRacing, they run with a wheel. And when you turn the wheel, or even if you're holding it still, there's kind of a force that's kind of trying to keep the wheel pointed straight and not moving. And that's called force feedback. When you turn, you kind of feel more of that tension. And when you break loose, the wheel gets very light.
Yeah.
It's all like all that force kind of disappears. And for drivers, when that force disappears, they know they're loose. They're probably hearing it as well, seeing it visually. And some drivers overcorrect and they'll force the wheel the opposite direction that you're sliding. And with this next-gen car, it will grip up and instantly go the direction that you turn when you get loose. And that's exactly what happened there. Just a slight overcorrection, and Thomas Green's night is over. And multiple drivers now trying to get repairs done. Brian McCann's just a little bit of a check look on the 8 machine. Doesn't look to be too bad. Johnson still getting repairs done at 34 seconds. He was in there in pit road. Zach Hall was in for 42nd. And Vincent Sora in the 51, he was in there for 42 seconds. Still in the lead lap, but all the way down in 19th position. This was not the night that the 51 wanted to have.
No, and he's got a lot more optional damage that he's got to get fixed. So we'll pay attention to what he can do the rest of the night. Now, we do know these cars are tough. We know that you can hit the wall and scrape it, but damage like that, he's going to be in and out of pit road as much as he can as we go back green flag racing here.
Nazi Major going to be staying low, letting this competition drive on by up front. It is Jared Talmadge, Larry Yingling, and John Forbes. Forbes now has a new contender that will stay to his inside. Gavin Rogers battling for 4th position with Colby DiCarlo, the 22. Haven't really talked about him. He's one of the biggest movers of those that are inside of the top 10. Currently up 9 spots. Other driver that's up good positions, GT Rosario up 7, and Ross Tatum up 11 spots for himself. As Larry Yingling taking the 2-tire call, same for this 27, a Jared Talmadge. Cold tires don't seem to be hurting them too much here in the early going. Both of them been able to pull away, but trouble in the back. Caution flies, and it's Nicholas Renner in the 76 that goes around.
And we also got Vincent Sora, looks like getting a black flag.
I think he might have gotten a black flag for entering a closed pit. That might have been his issue.
Let's see here. We'll try to find the replay here.
I think Vincent Sora might call it a night based off the way he just drove into pit road.
Let's see, who was the yellow one?
The 76 of Nicholas Renner was the cause of caution. And you're going to see here, 76 trying to put a lot of pressure down into turn number 3. The 8 machine, Brian McCann, hounding him in the rear bumper. And going to the inside, gets a little bit of help, and away the 76 goes.
Yeah, Brian got a little deep in there.
Just a tad.
That's called different braking points.
That's just him missing it. I mean, McCann had the space to the inside. He was just missed his braking point to where he could not slow down enough. He drifted high, and just wiped out Nicholas Renner. That's what you're going to see here. I mean, this is a normal thing you see at Richmond. Just a driver goes low, gets on the brakes maybe a little bit too hard, might have locked up slightly, and just it rushes the car to the outside. And nothing you could do if you're Nicholas Renner, just along for the ride as he goes around.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know if we can get back to it, but it looks like the 8 slid a little bit there, Sam. Like he turned the wheel and the car didn't react for him, and I don't know if that has to do with the damage or, like you said, or if he just misjudged it.
I'm guessing he got on the brakes a little bit harder.
Yeah, we'll see
might have
here.
slightly locked it up, and that can push the car high. Again, this is going to go into turn number 3 as he's battling, trying to figure out, okay, how do I get the better exit out of the corner? So he takes a little bit of an earlier apex to carry the speed. Is the machine of Ryan McCann, finally gets to the inside and just locks it up. Felt a little bit of a wobble, and it just pushed the car high, and away Renner goes. We also have an update for Vincent Sora. He did call it in the evening, drove into pit road speeding, just dumped it in the inside pit wall and said, I'm done. Too much damage, doesn't want to work on it anymore. And the 51 will take a 19th place finish. And that could be the end of Vincent Sora trying to tag along and chase Larry Yingling with 3 championships. Sora can be done. And this could now turn into a 3-horse race on who's marching for this Season 11 WSSR VRS Cup Series Championship. But up front, Larry Yingling in a prime position where he has found success, like I said in the past. He won this race back in Season 2. He got the pole, led the most laps, and won, leading 174 laps of 200 that day. That was the last time that WSSR ever ran 200 laps. Can he get in that lead position, lead the most here tonight? Let's see. As the 6-7-27 lead the charge as we're back to green flag racing. Colby DiCarlo, John Forbes going to be side by side battling for 3rd position, but Forbes a good launch to the inside to start out this first initial for this restart. And the one looks good, but Yingling powering strong on the outside as they drag race into turn 3.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to let that one go by. He's got better tires on all the way around that machine, and right now the 67 says, I'm not laying over for you, sir. We're battling for some playoff points here.
Oh, every position, every point matters so much as they continue to stay side by side. John Forbes wanting to join a class of drivers that have gone back-to-back. Yingling started the trend with his championship wins at Season 2 and 3. Then Vincent Sora tagged along as he won the championships in Season 4 and 5. Then we found our 3rd driver that was able to go back-to-back, Ben Nelson, as he went back-to-back for Season 8 and 9. I mean, for 7 and 8, excuse me. And we'll see, can Season 10 and 11 go to John Forbes that's trying to continue his historic season. He's got 6 wins entering tonight, 10 top 5s, 13 top 10s.
Wow.
He leads almost every stat you look at except for poles, and he's trying to continue on this massive season that the one has had. It's just been a rough go here tonight, as he wasn't able to get by Vincent Sora. Now gets passed by Colby DiCarlo, and it seems like for the one, he's audibling out, trying to go into tire saving mode.
I was going to say, is he going into tire saving mode, or is he actually just struggling with the car right now? It'd be interesting to hear what's going on if he is doing that, and maybe we can talk to him, if we happen to get another yellow that you said we could possibly get 20.
I don't think we're going to 20 anymore. We're kind of past that, unless we go real crazy. I don't think we're getting 20 anymore. I think, again, the ratio we were given, the most we've ever had was 13 cautions back in Season 2. And then the least amount we had was back in Season 7, where we only had 4 cautions. Here tonight, we've had 3 so far. I'm curious if that's going to change moving forward. I'm not expecting it to.
No.
But Robert, I mean, there's always a chance of them going too crazy after this halfway marker passes after lap 100, but 60 laps in, everyone seems to be playing nice up front, being single filed out, but further on back, the racing just inside of the top 15 is where things are getting slightly chaotic, around 12th, 13th, and 14th place, where you've got damaged vehicles just trying to stay close to one another.
Yeah, and if you're damaged, that's the problem, right? You're gonna fight and try to figure out how to stay back here. As we see Cedric back here, and we also got Justin Malarkey back here battling with Brian Johnson right now. I think Brian Johnson finally worked his way around him, and like you said, it looks like we're just single file here right now, Sam. I think these guys realize, you know what, let's take it easy and let's ride and see what happens. And I'm interested to see how these two tires work out. Right now, they're working out really great. And, take notes on that.
Yeah, I think this is working perfectly.
Yeah.
I think later on in the race, we might see a lot more takers of the two-tire stop. I think this kind of puts good knowledge for the 27 and the 67. The only problem is that this is going to put them in a bubble to where whenever their next pit stop happens, they're forced to take four just to help out those left sides that they didn't take on this last pit stop. But I think later on in this race, it really puts everyone in that spot where if you have any late cautions, you have to take two, and it's the best option to take. But with everyone single filed out and we are in cruise control, I want to say thank you for joining with us as a quarter of the race is in the books here at Richmond. Of the evening, it's been a pleasure to give you the call here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. You're watching the WSSR VRS Cup Series. Richmond is at its highs, it's at its lows in the past. Tonight, it's been the tire strategy call that's been helping out Jared Talmadge and Larry Yingling with track position. Is that the winning call? We'll find out as the field continues to go side by side throughout this run. And I can't wait for it. It's going to be a good one. We will see you in just a few moments from this commercial break.
This is our VRS Direct Force Pro wheelbase, which is the heart of any sim racing setup. It's designed to give you the best possible feedback for all sim racing titles, and it was co-developed with the world's best sim racers to make sure it's fit for competition.
Right from the beginning of the development of the VRS systems, we threw it straight in the deep end. We were racing World Championship level events, and that allowed us to get the best possible idea of what we needed in that competitive environment to be able to push the product forward to obviously what you're seeing today.
I think the most important features are just having really good detail through the wheel. I think the software and how it kind of interacts and sends you the detail makes a huge difference. And for me, since using the VRS Direct Force Pro, that's greatly improved my wanting to drive just because it's so much more fun, you get more detail.
And other than that, of course, the feedback is really important. Heavy but also very subtle forces behind it, so you can constantly feel what the car is doing. I think that's really important, not just for racing, but when you really have to go deep into building a setup, you really need to feel what the car is doing. And obviously the rig arm isn't really moving around, so you need to feel all those subtle little things in the wheel.
The wheelbase makes use of an industry-proven Midge servo motor, directly feeding up to 20 Nm of torque to your steering wheel with close to zero mechanical notchiness, damping or friction. The shaft can be equipped with an adapter to make it suitable for any wheel. The brain of the wheelbase is within the compact USB motor controller, which features a fanless power supply for silent operation and a dynamic brake resistor to provide the smoothest and most responsive operation possible. Our firmware is provided on our website to give you full control of the wheelbase with multiple profiles for different sim racing titles, completely customizable to your liking. And it's all designed to help you get on pace faster. You can shop for the VRS Direct Force Pro wheelbase and all our other hardware directly on our website vrs.racing.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Wednesday night. Tonight, you've been watching the WSSR VRS Cup Series Season 11, first race of the championship round. This round is only 2 races, and already one of our playoff contenders is out of the running. Vincent Sora, right before we went to commercial break, pulled it into pit road and called it an evening. Multiple other drivers have called it a night as well. Nicholas Renner, as well as Brian McCann, have joined Vincent Sora and Thomas Green with their major damage. Manazzi Major trying to get all the damage repair out done as quickly as possible. And we are left with 15 drivers out on track. Leading the way are the 2 drivers that took 2 tires 40 laps ago. We've been pretty clean and green since our previous caution. It's been a fun green flag run that we've been having so far, but 80 laps in the books. Talmadge looks good, but there's a few fast drivers that have been on the move. Zach Hall, who got earlier damage, caught up in one of the wrecks. He's currently up to 9th place. Thought he was going to set up to get by Cody Reed. Really hasn't found the spacing to get by. Kind of stalled out. He's going to attempt once again to move up into 8th position. Another driver that's trying to make some big moves forward. That's 4th place, Gavin Rogers. He fell back to 5th. He's now starting to find a little bit of extra speed, running just as fast as John Forbes ahead of him, as they're both a 10th faster than the 2 drivers that are ahead of them in 1st and 2nd. So we're starting to get a glimpse. Forbes, Rogers, they both seem to be saving their stuff for the long run. And this is around the zone that we got to see those drivers that were saving their tires start to really unleash that speed. And Robert, this is when things are about to get fun, I think, for the next 15 to 20 laps.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm sitting here watching the stint that these guys are on, 43 laps. You got 4 tires versus 2 tires, and it's working out for, the top 2 there. To stay up front, but like you said, you got John Forbes and Rogers here. They're slowly creeping them down here. So the top 2, I don't know, but I know one thing. If I was in the back, like you said, I think we're gonna be the green flag racing here for a while. I think the long run's gonna come into play, and these drivers are gonna take notes on 2 tires, 4 tires, how many more laps are left fuel wise. So if we stay green, this is gonna get interesting.
I think it really is, as well as drivers continue to race on. One's going to be entering into the pits. It's Ben Keeney, who's been struggling this evening. But also, update on Manazzi Major. He's officially left the server, so only 15 drivers officially out on track as the 98's getting service done for themselves. Zach Hall finally getting underneath Cody Reed. This is the battle for 8th place, and Ben Keeney now officially calling it a night. So just 14 drivers left out on track, and Robert, it's a survival game. Who can stay out there the longest and make it to the end of this race? And we've seen drivers willing to fight the adversity of damage. Others just say there's too much. I'm not willing to really spend my time working on it. With it being one of the final races, not a lot of these guys are racing for anything. It's just the pride to be out there. As here's other battle that's happening on track. Ali Fonseca and Brian P. Johnson. Brian caught up in the first wreck of the day. He's trying to find a way to go forward.
He's trying to get around Ollie here in that number 24 yellow machine, but he's trying, but it's not working. And I the longer we go on this green flag run here, and we start getting this long stints, this damage eventually does come into play with these cars. So not only he's dealing with tire wear and everything, but he's also dealing with a little bit of damage that's hindering the car. And you can really see him. I can't get an up-close shot, but when he goes into the turns, look at that front rotors. They're starting to glow.
I know that's one of your favorite things that I put in, was us being able to see those brake rotors glow. What helps us visually is Johnson once again trying to get underneath the 24. Slight bump, going to get Ollie slightly out of the way. It gives a chance for the 28 to attack. With the glowing of the brake rotors, it really helps us see where are the drivers putting a lot more focus on their tires? As ahead of these guys, Cody Reed, Zach Hall, they make contact. Reed with a huge save. Hall has to back out, and Cedric Hunter says, thank you, I'll take that 2-for-1 special. As Hall locking up once again, holding Ollie. Now Johnson's able to push his way through and get by Hall. Reed, Ollie Fonseca just turning into a pinball at this moment as Hall is starting to fall apart.
Yeah, like, what's happening to Hall? I mean, all of a sudden this car just I don't know if it's the weather change but something. He's struggling with something behind that wheel right now. Now we got Ollie trying to look underneath him. We got GT here trying to work his way up through the field here now, Sam, too. So I'm not sure what's going on with that 32 machine, but it's not a happy machine right now.
It's the wear and tear on the tires. You don't have the same amount of grip that you once did on that front right tire that helped you slow down. You've been wearing it out, and it kind of turns what was once was a kind of a solid brick into a rounded edges. And instead of, you know, having a brick that would just easily slam into a wall and it just would stop, you got a little bit of a bevel there. It kind of forces the wheel to kind of just slide on through. And it's what's all hurting these drivers into the long run. They don't have a solid pressure on these tires. It's allowing them to just glide through the turn. They're kind of just going to the corner and just sliding up each and every corner. And that's why we're seeing a lot of inconsistencies on times as well as on entries. Drivers are just, they aren't reacting to the tires, and it kind of feels like each lap you're playing a little bit of Russian roulette. You don't know if you're going to have the tires or not have the tires.
Oh, that no driver wants to go through that in real life or even in the sim. That is a tough battle to beat because, you, like you said, you go into the turns, you don't know what the car's going to do, and if it slides up, you get into somebody, and you know it's not on purpose, but. You know, you can see Zach here. He regathered the car, and now he's figured it out again, and now he's going to give it a go, try to get around Cody Reed here in that number 25 machine.
And it's very different from what Cody and Zach are going through compared to earlier in the race when we were watching Vincent Sora and John Forbes. Those were teammates of Forbes and Sora. They can communicate, hey, we're just battling back and forth. We're not trying to hurt each other, but I want that spot. For Cody Reed and Zach Hall, they're not teammates. And for Hall, he's been fighting for this position for the past 20 to 25 laps. He feels like he's been faster than Reed, but every time he attempts to go for a pass, Reed just fights on back, just showing great defensive plays by this 25, and that's partly why there was contact made. I think Zach Hall just pushed the car to its limit, went past, and they made contact between the 32 and the 25. They're going to continue to fight back and forth. I have been watching the numbers of our front four starting to close in. Our top two, at one moment, it was about an 0.8 of a second difference between first and second. First back to third was almost a second and a half. Those two of numbers have been cut in half. Also, Gavin Rogers starting to close in, but as the 1 and the 75 have closed in on their leaders, the times have started to plateau. We're starting to equal out, meaning if you're the first driver to pit, you might have a major advantage here on going with the undercut pit stop here as we're almost halfway through this race.
And what are we looking at fuel run then here, Sam? If you
Not
know,
a single clue.
Not a single clue. Okay, well,
we're given a number. And I ain't gonna guess, because when I guess, the drivers get mad at me for that.
Well, we ain't gonna do that, but you can see after this long run, we're already 60 laps into it, and the 4 tires now are running down to 2 tires. So, I mean, yeah, the times are slowing, but the one Forbes and Rogers there, they still got better tires. Now the question is how you're going to use them. As right now, John Forbes is going to look under Larry and try to make that pass going into 1 and 2. They're going to be side by side, and throughout the race here tonight, though, Sam, that top line has been pretty strong on new tires and old tires, and I'm very impressed the way this new layout, the new track that we got here from iRacing. It's actually pretty racy. As looks like we lost Sam here for a little bit. He'll be back once he gets here. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we still got this battle side by side here as these guys are going to try to beat and bang. And now we got looks like we have Ross Tatum now trying to also work his way around here as they still got the battle going on side by side here. The 67 and the 1 has to try to figure it out because that 75 of Rogers here, he says, I like what I'm seeing. I'm eventually going to catch up here as we see these two top guys up here in the front still trying to battle it out for second position, ladies and gentlemen. So until we get Sam back, how's everybody doing out there tonight? How was your Wednesday and, your Monday, your Tuesday? You're having a good week? Let me know out in chat, and we can talk a little bit as we're watching that battle still side by side for second position. And as these guys run side by side, they are actually literally catching Jared here in that number 27 machine. Still got a good run going on for him, but these tires are starting to wear and tear. 65 laps into it, and you can still see right behind them, side by side, as these guys battle here. And it looks like Forbes is going to give it up right now, and I think Forbes is saying, okay, the low line's not working. We got Kelly, we got, who else we got back there? The 3 machine. He's trying to figure out what he wants to do, so I think right now Forbes is saying, well, the low line didn't work out so well, so I'm going to try the high line. We're still seeing the battle here, the high side, and now Rogers is trying to work his way around, but right now we'll go back here. We haven't talked much about the 3 machine. Good run for him. He's up here in 5th position right now, trying to figure out what he needs to do. Good run for him so far. He is also 68 laps on his stint, but Cedric Hunter here in the 13, haven't talked about him here tonight, but he's only 63 laps into his stint, so he's going to be able to go a little bit farther than these guys here when they have to come in and make their pit stop.
As I think I got my internet back, Robert.
Hey, Sam's
I was a
back.
little bit sorry. I had issues yesterday where that happened, and I think we're back. So you're not left alone for
Yay.
the rest of this race.
That's
but
okay.
Still up front is Jared Talmadge and Larry Yingling. But I mean, Robert, this has been a race now of when do you want to come into the pits and get service done? I think that's going to be the question of. We've seen numbers in the past where some drivers were able to go 80 to 100 laps on fuel. Here tonight, I mean, if that's the number that you might be aiming for, we could be seeing pit stops here in the next 30 to 35 laps, but also you're in the window where you could pit right now if you would want to, if you can stretch the fuel out that long. And if you're able to find clean space after you pit, that could give you a massive advantage on building a big enough gap to where drivers can't catch up to you.
You're going to get in trouble. You said you didn't know if fuel running, now you just gave out a number.
I mean, I'm shooting out a number. I mean, at this
but now the
point,
drivers are going to get mad.
if they get mad, they get mad. They get mad at me about a lot of things. We commentate, curse people, when we
That's
praise them,
true.
say they're doing good.
That's true. That's true. And I already put the curse out there, and hopefully it's not going to work. But I did say that number 3 machine, he's up to 5th position, Sam. And we didn't talk much about him, but he's having one heck of a run here tonight.
Yeah, Rand Kelly trying to bounce back after kind of a rough showing on Monday nights with the Trinity Racing League here this evening. The 3 was one of our favorites, I think, coming into the playoffs. Of if he had made it to this round,
Yeah.
I think Kelly could have been one of the top 3 drivers. He's known for consistency. A track like Richmond kind of fits in the wheelhouse where it's a shorter track. It's about tire wear, saving your tires and fuel.
Yep.
I'm not kind of shocked by this. And his teammate Larry Yingling, they're very similar on the way that they race around this course. And this 3 has been closing in. Once again, another driver about to be added to this cluster that have been up front. This has kind of been fun to see your top 5 slowly close in to all be within about a second of one another.
Yeah, I'm shocked, but Roy, what makes me really shocked is 74 laps into this, and the 2 tires, are looking to be king here right now. I mean, honestly, these drivers are taking notes, and I bet you this next pit stop's the guys that did take 2 tires, like you said, they're going to have to take 4 for the left side, but a lot of these drivers are putting this down in the notes saying, man, I could go 70, almost 80 laps, on 2 tires. Now the question is how's that wear on the left side? How far does that get down to your spotter? It gives you a warning and says that you got too much wear going on. I don't know if they're going to get that or not, Sam.
I don't know either. I think that's kind of the part that's kind of interesting to watch of how does this evolve. Is Oli Fonseca, who hit it already seeing the difference on having better tires than our leaders, how easy the 24 was able to get by. And I think that's kind of the fun of watching everyone bouncing back and forth is where do you see the advantage to attack? And right now, for a second, Yingling thought with Ollie going by, he could have pounced there for the lead position.
Here it comes.
Now he'll duck low once again, just looking for the clean air to enable the 67 to just stay lower, maybe get to that inside quarter panel. Not the case just yet. He'll continue to stay in line as Talmadge as well as Yingling. They got to be careful because the one looks to be strong as he's trying to look for an opening to get by.
67's doing the correct move. He's like, okay, you guys caught me. I'm hitting pit road. Good call.
And Talmadge into pit road. Gonna get that service done. And now for the one as well for the 75 and 3. When do you make the call? Do you retaliate on this lap or do you go another 10 to 15 more laps to stretch it out even further?
I think you just keep going right now until the Forbes gets around you. I mean, right now the two tires are working again. Now that's that spotter, starts yelling at you about too much tire wear that you're going to blow that tire. Until then, Sam, I would stay out. I mean, you're holding these guys back that's got 4 tires. You might as well just try to keep going as far as you can until they have to make a pit stop. I mean that's what I would do as strategy-wise.
I mean, it's not a bad call at all. As Larry Yingling, I mean, I think the thing that's he's just proving right now is clean air is reigning king. The 67 slowly pulling away. I mean, it's not by a lot, but just showing 2 tires, even this into a long run, he still has good speed. It's the one of John Forbes ducks low. He's heading to pit road, or at least he's tempting to. He almost misses pit entry and able to get into the entry point. He almost completely missed it.
It's interesting because this could be the money stop. I mean, we already seen
this is the money stop.
Yeah, I mean, unless we get the dreadful, yellow flag that we don't want to talk about, but I don't think we're going to see that. And like you said, it's the money stop. These guys right now. So it's again, for Larry, if he can just stay out there and hold these guys back, every lap that he makes is going to be, good for him. But the question comes down to if one of these drivers that just pitted earlier get in front. We just seen how this, clean air reacts and how much faster the 67 just started going, over Rogers and even John Forbes, Sam. So, now my question is how long do you stay out? I mean, eventually I don't know, man. I think I'd consider pitting here very shortly.
I mean, with the fact that you've already seen John Forbes, Jared Talmadge, they've already pitted. Each lap that goes by, you're giving up a second.
Right.
A second, almost a second and a half, based off the lap times you were previously putting down. So you're getting concerned on, you're trying to have an advantage if you pit, but you also don't want to you don't want to stay out there so long that you don't have enough time to run down those drivers because everyone's tires just plateau and are running the same. There's the mind games you're going back and forth with. I think for the drivers of Talmadge as well for John Forbes, I mean, they had teammates that are exited out of this race, might be getting fed information by them of what to do, but when you have a teammate that's running well, it's kind of a lot easier to play those mind games and figure out, okay, we're going to do the strategy together, let's help each other out. While for Yingling as well for the 3 of Ryan Kelly, I mean, with Kelly pitting, he might try to help in any way he can, but for the 67 staying out so long, I am getting concerned that maybe he's banking on a caution flag coming out, but there's Talmadge already trying to unlap himself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think if he's banking on a yellow, I wouldn't be banking on that. I think, and it's a shame that he's making this call, and of course we're not the crew chief and we're not out there racing with him, or helping him, but I don't see this working out. I just would have, went in, and the question is he going to hit pit road now that the fast cars got around him? And nope, he's going to stay out for another lap. Like you said, Sam, I don't like this now.
He's questioning making us think, but I mean, he's one of the best drivers out there.
Yeah.
Larry has found a way into victory lane so many times in the past. I'm not shocked by him gambling here. I think with the raw pace and speed that we've seen from Rogers, from also John Forbes, you got to try something different if you want a chance to go for a win and for this championship. And just following your competition, who's been winning all throughout this season, you're just a follower. You're not going for something different that might give you a chance for this championship. So
Yeah.
a good effort from Larry here. Still 70 laps to go before this race is over, and 70 laps to question. Do we get a caution that could help this 67 and 75? Or does the long run happen as Gavin Rogers heads to pit road?
There we go.
Or was it pitting earlier to build the gap, the call that can help John Forbes here to have the most points heading into next week?
Well, we're going to see here as John Forbes is now going around, but like you said, and the 67 is now hitting pit road here, Sam. So now everything's just going to flip. We're going to see what these gaps are. You know, we got to see what the entrance is and how they go down pit road here. You know, and then get into their pit box, get that pit stop done, and then back out on track and see where the gap lies. And, you know, with these two drivers with the 75 and 67 getting fresh tires, now can they mow down these top two that, you know, already made their pit stop? And it's going to be very interesting if they can catch them, you know, and then pass them. You know, like we always say in racing, sometimes it's easy to catch somebody, but it's a lot difficult to, you know, pass them.
It absolutely is, and especially with the changes that iRacing's done to this next gen, with the dirty air, the tire package, it is so much more difficult now to make passes than it was in the past. As Cedric Hunter relinquishes the lead, he'll head into pit road. Brian P. Johnson leads for now. We know that's not going to last for very long, as the 28 going to be one of the last drivers that are going to have to come into pit road, or is going to get passed by Jared Talmadge here in the next 5 to 10 laps. But Brian P. Johnson, I mean, the inaugural champion, I thought he was going to go for a pretty solid run and try to make the Final Four. It just didn't line up after his running in the round of 8 with some of the cautions and issues that he had. But certainly was a fun season to see the reemergence of Johnson, who really went through a dry spell there for about 3 seasons. It just felt like nothing was going his way. He was spiraling into just getting worse and worse. This season, I felt like we really were starting to see the Brian of old, not truly the dominance that we once saw in the past, but it was fun seeing this driver battling inside of the top 5 for a majority of the season, when we had not seen that a lot in the last 4 to 3 seasons.
Well, that's it, Sam, too. You know, when you broadcast a league from the beginning, you know, we've been here from the beginning, as now Johnson is going to hit pit road, but we've been here from the beginning. You get used to seeing cars or drivers themselves, you know, dominate and have good races and just, you know, be up front all the time. And then when you start seeing things happening, different cars and everything, you start asking what's going on, you know. And Brian Johnson, as we noted in the past, he took a break for a little bit, and now he's come back, and he hasn't dominated, but again, he made the playoffs. He had a great season. Unfortunately, he didn't make it into the top 4, but, you know, you still got to take away that, you know, you can build off of this, even though, you know, next season we don't know what the league's doing yet, as nothing is finalized yet. We just got the schedule for next season, but, you know, the talk on their Discord is that we might be going to a different car, and maybe that will play a factor in seeing Brian Johnson, you know, be the old Brian Johnson with a different vehicle. Well, I mean, only time will tell here, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the fun part with the voting that's been going on throughout the past month, of what vehicle to try to maybe switch to. Do we stay with the next gen? It's been kind of fun to see different drivers' points of views on the changes that might be coming into season 12. Crazy to say, season 12 of the WSSR Cup Series. We had so many incredible sponsors that have tagged along. And we want to say we are so thankful to those that joined on this season 11 campaign. Big shout out to VRS Virtual Racing School being the title sponsor for season 11. Head on over to virtualracingschool.com and go check out all the ways that they can help you on the virtual side and real life side of racing, from tools to see ways that you can advance and get faster on the track, to having coaching, to just a lot of instruments that can enable you to get faster on track, as well as setups. Go check out VRS, otherwise known as the Virtual Racing School, today. We also want to say thank you to GTR Simulators. Don't miss out on your chance to upgrade your rig like the pros. Head on over to gtrsimulators.com, and when purchasing, remember to use the promo code WSSR at checkout for 10% off on any purchase $100 or more. Also want to say thank you to Trophy Smack. If you want to go see their collection of items that they have, from trophies, belts, rings, and their wall smack feature, go check them out today. Their wall smack, such a cool product to go after. I know you've got your own wall smack, Robert. It's a metal plate you can put your own image on. If it's a victory, if it's a low moment, it comes out in a metal plate that you can put on your wall with their wall safe magnet system, or you can purchase a stand and place it on your shelf or desk to show off your piece of art that is from Trophy Smack. And when purchasing from Trophy Smack, remember to use the promo code WSSR Smack at checkout for any purchases going for their wall smack, and just any purchases at all at trophysmack.com. And finally, we want to say thank you to Sim Precision Prints. If you're looking for a 3D printed one-of-a-kind piece, or if you're looking for 3D racing gear that could be printed, go check out Sim Precision Prints today. Remember to use the promo code WSSR at checkout to get 10% off and more on $50 or more purchases. But gotta say, Robert, it's so cool to have sponsors that tag along and try to be a part of such a great racing group and community that continues to grow.
Oh, that is, VRS is one of the. I mean, they're all big sponsors, but getting VRS behind a league is that tells you something, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are a sim racer and you do race, and you want to check out, something for Wednesday night, come check these guys out. Great racing, as you can see here tonight. We all got single file, and it's been nothing but green flag racing here after a little hiccups at the beginning, it happens. But overall, I have to say this race has turned out to be very, very good. And I'm watching also too here, Larry. He's 9 seconds behind. He's slowly mowing these guys down. Rogers here, 7 seconds behind. Then you also got John Forbes. Can he catch up to the leader? As Jared took 4 tires here, and no, did Jared take 4 tires? No, did he take 2 tires again? Did he just take left sides?
I know he went into the pits. I don't have the exact numbers on that, but Jared did get service for himself. But I know a lot of these guys taking 2 tires, I think, should have been the call that was going to be made. I think if you wanted to gain time, but with how many more laps they had to run, 4 tires was going to be the quicker option at the end of the day.
If you look at the pit box of Jared, it says that he had a pit box of 9.3. So I don't know if he took left side tires and said the right tires kept him on, because we also got Rogers in the 75 that took a pit stop of a 9.6 there, Sam.
If anything that is less than 11 seconds is a 2-tire stop, so that's just right sides only. And I think after seeing what Talmadge as well as what Yingling did during that previous pit stall, I'm not shocked by that decision to take 2. I think we've also seen that kind of be a trend with green flag pit stops. It's going to be your last pit stop to just take 2 tires with this next gen. It's been a bizarre thing to see. It kind of wasn't always the way it was in the past. It used to be only at super speedways that you take 2 tires, but here tonight, drivers seeing the trends, continue to take the gamble. As Jared Talmadge, the more that he lingers behind Ali Fonseca, you're starting to see that time dwindle away. John Forbes is starting to close down. But with us being with less than 50 laps to go, I think this might be our final time to take a commercial break. It's been a fun run. It's the chase to the end. Who will have the tires and who will be there in those final 20 to 15 laps? We will find out. It's been a pleasure to give you the call here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. You're watching the WSSR VRS Cup Series Championship round of Season 11. It's the first race at Richmond. Currently, it's Talmadge leading the way, but for how long? We'll find out after this side-by-side commercial break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR VRS Cup Series. We are making the march to the end. We are about to be 30 laps to go. You are watching the duel for the lead. Ali Fonseca, Jared Talmadge just brawling out, and John Forbes finding himself into the mix. Forbes has gotten by for the lead, but now the question is, what is the major tire difference and how much tires are left under the 75 and the 1 machine? Rogers has to get by Jared Talmadge before he can march by Forbes, but it's starting to turn into a little bit more of a brawl to watch, and with all the decisions, taking 2 tires, taking 4, is John Forbes up front. I think no surprise to see the fact that he took the lead back here, Robert, but the way that he took it back by help of Brian P. Johnson getting by Ollie and Jarrett was the more shocking thing to see.
Yeah, I mean, that didn't help nothing here, but yeah, Brian helped him out there, and now, you know, Forbes got the lead, but watching that 75 here, Sam, I do believe he's going to catch him with about 25 laps to go here. They got about a 10-lap difference on tires, and I think that 75, if he can get around Jared here pretty easy without trying to burn up his stuff, I think he might have something for this one.
And also, you see another red machine closing in the background. Larry Yingling as well is on the charge. He just got by Ali Fonseca. Now we'll have GT Rosario in front of him, as well as trying to get by Jared Talmadge, Gavin Rogers, John Forbes. This 67 is flying right now. And this was the thing we were curious about. With all the time he was giving up, he was gonna have the better tires at the end, but was there enough time for Yingling to catch up to him? And has he overcooked these tires to where there's nothing left in those final 10 laps? Because he needs to have something there late.
Yeah, and we're gonna find out as we got 26 laps to go here, about ready to hit 25 here, Sam. And this is going to be interesting. We'll see what this 67 has if he can catch him. But right now, I wouldn't worry about the 67 because we also got the 75 that finally made it around Jared. And now he's going to try to catch the leader here of John Forbes with about 10 lap better tires here. So this is going to get interesting, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to see, we got, you know, playoff drivers running first, second, and fourth. And where do we got the other one? Also,
back in 19 was Vincent Sora.
So next week going into Miami, Vincent Sora is really going to have to put down the gauntlet and hope that other things happen. And also, you know, the driver count is low here tonight. So we're going to need, you know, more drivers to show up next week for something to happen to these top 4. I don't think Vincent Sora, I think the playoffs might be done for him.
It might be over for Sora, but what might also be over, Gavin Rogers just absolutely stripping away the lead. It's now down to just a 10th as the 75 is right on the back bumper of Forbes. Forbes gonna be trying everything to hold on, but the tires just aren't there. Now it's time to look into your toolbox. What defensive moves are left? Gavin Rogers to the inside, the 75 trying to get his first win of the season. He got his first pole tonight. Can he get his first win tonight of season 11? As we look back, Yingling, he's gonna be about a second and a half back from this lead battle, but every lap that John Forbes defends, it helps out that 67 to close in the gap, but there's still a lot of drivers around. Rogers, can he find the battle? Can he find the fight? Because this is looking eerily similar to those first 20 laps when Forbes and Sora were side by side for the first 20 laps of this race.
Yeah, and my worriment is and we know how, you know, Rogers can be here. He's got the car. He's got the tires. Just take it easy. Don't do anything to ruin your race with 20 laps to go. Because we've seen self-destruction as right now. I think he's just pushing the car too hard, Sam. I don't think he needs to be doing this as he gets up in Forbes.
But the thing is that the earlier he gets the lead, the bigger of a gap he'll have over the 67, who is not closing in quickly. GT Rosario lingering behind them. He's 1 lap down, debating on if he wants to fight to get by and back on the lead lap. As Rogers, a little bit of a tap, but a little slight wiggle, and it gives Forbes a chance on the outside. They'll continue to fight side by side through turns 1 and 2. Less than 20 laps to go. That turning point machine's trying to make the outside lane work. He's defending perfectly, but the wall keeps sneaking up on him. You got to be careful not to hit it. But Forbes, Rogers, they stay side by side. But we really can't see how close I couldn't really see where the wall was because of that shot. They're getting closer each and every lap as Forbes is just trying his best. But Rogers each lap just sneaks a nose ahead each time.
You know, these guys keep it up with 18 laps to go here, Sam. I do believe we might have a two-wide battle for the lead here at the end of the race if Forbes can hold them off. And honestly, I don't think Forbes can. I think the tires are going to eventually here give out within the next 7 laps, I really do believe here. But we'll see as he's getting that run off the top. That top line is really working here tonight.
It's great for defending at this current time. And like I said, when will the tires just fall away? And are the lap cars going to be patient enough? Now there's 2 lap machines between our top 2 and Larry Yingling in 3rd. Cody Reed gets by GT Rizzari. Does the 25 let him race? Or does he just bustle his way by as Reed is in a spot where he's trying to unlap himself after pitting just about 15 laps ago? Can Cody Reed, he's going to try to force the issue to maybe get himself just back to 1 lap down as Forbes, Rogers, the 25's got the power to maybe give a bump and shove to help one driver get by, but he's going to try 3 wide. Outside's Cody Reed. He backs out of it smartly as Forbes was thinking, was there going to be a car to my outside? He had to back out. That gave the chance for Rogers. Reed once again searching for space on the outside groove. 25 wants to get by. He's going to go for the late apex, and Forbes losing the ground on the outer groove. Rogers finally able to get at least close enough clear. This is his best chance to get in front of the one. Off the exit of turn number 2. Forbes is no longer there, and Rogers definitively in the lead position as Forbes tries to fight back. Too big of a dive. Now Cody Reed, fresher tires, 2 laps down. He tries to breeze on by.
Oh my goodness, and this is what Rogers wants to see, right? I mean, he finally got by. Ford burned up them tires on the high line, and I don't think he's going to have anything left unless he backs off. Tries to cool the tires and give a final last run here, Sam, but right now we got Cody Reed just playing the game here, and I think Forbes just gave him a little love tap there exiting out of 4.
Forbes is not happy. I mean, you've got a lap car 2 laps down, forcing the issue with the leaders that are also battling for the championship. I mean, you would prefer Cody Reed to back out. Just let them solidify who's going to be in this position. Don't force the issue. But the 25 forces it, spooks the 1, and now Cody Reed is in between 1st and 2nd. Irizarry now's in a tough spot where he might try to force to go to the outside of the 1 to get by. And Forbes is losing touch. He's losing ground. And Larry Yingling now is getting bigger in his mirror each and every lap.
Yeah, and with 11 to go, I think, I don't think, Larry has it with the lap cars. Just as we know, it doesn't help. You get in the wake of the dirty air. It's making the car slide. But you know what, though, Sam? You know, the 25 and the 14 have the right to race, and they're not doing anything wrong. They're just racing their race, and it's up to these leaders to figure out how to get by them. With 10 laps to go, if nothing changes, I think that 75 is looking pretty good. But I also wanted to bring up a note here. Zach Hall got a meatball flag, unfortunately, and then it also shows that Justin Malarkey also is now in pit road and has exited the race.
Yeah, so that's leaving us with 12 drivers out on track. Just our top 8 are drivers that are on the lead lap, and kind of crazy to see all the changes that have happened so far. Just 20 drivers started out on tonight's race, 8 laps to go. And Gavin Rogers, he continues to prove that even if it felt like he was the underdog entering tonight, he's the only driver to make it to the Final 4 that is yet to win a championship. Could this be the season? He's setting up in a prime position, leading here late. Over a 2nd gap lead over to John Forbes, but these are those late stage moments that Gavin Rogers has been terrified of. Every time he's been leading this late into a run, a caution flag comes out, strategy calls are made, and usually he's on the back foot, missing out on the winning strategy. So for Gavin Rogers, he wants it to stay clean and green. The question is, how gentle is everyone willing to play around one another? Because I'm looking at the field and the drivers that are out there on track. No one is known for bringing out late cautions, but Richmond, you never know. Someone might, like we've seen tonight, just slip up going over the edge just slightly.
Yeah. I mean, you push it too hard and the car snaps some, but I mean, it's looking good. We've been green for a very, very long time here with over 60-some laps we've been green, and we had another stint of 60 laps, so let's hope not. But like you said, you know, the curse comes out if something happens here. Poor Rogers always has the great call, and then it gets ripped away, or he rips it away because he gets too anxious and ruins the race for himself, honestly. I mean, I'm trying to be nice about it, but, you know, he gets himself into circumstances that he doesn't need. But I do believe here tonight, even if that 25 of Cody Reed catches him, I would just let him go. You got 4 laps to go here, coming down the 3, and here we go, Sam. Can he got his first pole, like you said, here tonight? Can now he finally get into victory lane here tonight with only 3 laps to go?
With 3 laps to go, one more lap driver ahead. That's going to be Colby DiCarlo. That is the last driver on the lead lap, just ahead of the 75 machine. Gavin Rogers this season has been searching for a way to get into victory lane. He thought it was going to happen at the road courses. His luck just never solidified there. Here tonight, though, it was all about choosing. Did you choose the shift or choose to stay in 5th? And the 75, majority of the night, stayed in that 5th gear. And here this evening, exit of turn number 4, he looks up to the flag stand, and it's the white flag waving for Gavin Rogers. Cody Reed right on that back bumper, pounding the 75. He's 2 laps down, is Cody. But for Rogers, he just has to make it around. Oh, just one more lap. What a run it has been for himself.
He finally
entered
got
into
it
tonight, hoping for a chance to get into victory lane. He was hoping for a chance for a championship.
There you
And
go.
all the momentum, give it to Gavin Rogers, winning here at Richmond, the first race of the championship round.
And that is key, and it's going to be interesting as we go to Homestead to crown a championship, Sam. This is going to get interesting because our top 3 are all playoff drivers, and unfortunately Vincent Sora, that I do believe that it is done over with, unfortunately, but we're going to have a 3-way battle for a championship. But until we get there tonight, Rogers gets to celebrate his first victory at WSSR.
Well, his first victory for season 11 for himself. It was a rough season. So many chances for victory. And here tonight, finally gets it done. His last time he was in victory lane was Road America back last season in January 29th of this season, of this year. It was a rough one. Took him over a season, but he's finally back into victory lane. With all the bonus points that could have been grabbed, Gavin is set and primed for a Season 11 championship, trying to redeem when he didn't get it back in Season 9. Congratulations to Rogers for the victory, as well for the finishes of Larry Yingling and for John Forbes. We will come back just after this. We will find ourselves with the post-race show. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the post-race show of the championship round of Season 11 of our WSSR VRS Cup Series on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We head down to Victory Lane to go talk to the driver that has been searching all season long, and it finally came together at the perfect time. First race of the championship round here at Richmond. Gavin, you got a lot of firsts here to start this championship round off. Your first pole of the season, your first win of the season. What a time to finally hit your mark to start this championship round. How are you feeling?
Dude, I'm feeling so great, Sam. First and foremost, I want to shout out Rev. I know I'm gonna be able to shout out him later. I'll shout out him whenever I can. He was a huge help with me tonight. I put a few laps in last night. Just to kind of get the setup figured out. And I luckily was able to get something down with the master cylinders and the brake bias. And I kind of just used his help to fine tune everything and fine tune my lines. And if it weren't for him with the strategy tonight, I wouldn't have won at all. He was doing so much to get strategy figured out for me. And I would have been pretty lost if I didn't have him there. And I just want to give huge props to him. It's as much of a win to me, or as much as a win to him as it is for me.
I mean, Gavin, all throughout tonight, we were looking through all the different drivers and strategies they were going for. You were talking about brakes and master cylinders. We were also seeing a lot of differences on when to shift or not shift. What was it like trying to fine tune that aspect of the race on when you wanted to shift or not shift for yourself?
Yeah, it's actually a really great question. I was really thinking not shifting was going to be a thing for the entirety of the race, mainly because the practice that I did yesterday was only about 20 lap runs. I didn't do much more than that until tonight, and I still didn't really think it was going to be a factor with the extra laps that I put in today before the race. But Rev was in my ear trying to help me out and see if shifting was going to be better. He was telling me to probably keep it in fifth for the beginning of the run and maybe go to the fourth towards the end of the runs. And I personally didn't think it helped me much, maybe through certain parts of the run. But I feel like it just burnt up the tires too quick for me. So I just kind of, once I got past John, I was messing around with it just to see what I could do that was going to be comfortable. And I definitely found fifth being a little bit more comfortable for me with the line that I was running.
Well, Gavin, it's simple heading into next week for yourself at Homestead, the final race of the season. You've got the most points. You're going to have the advantage heading in. How is the confidence knowing that it's Homestead? We've seen John Forbes look strong there in the past. We've seen Vincent Sorsfield look strong there. What is your confidence, though, heading to Homestead next week?
It's good for sure. I mean, it's obviously not over yet. Gonna have to put together a really good race. I feel like John's strong suit is some of the bigger tracks, which is something that I need to work on. The teamwork is definitely going to be a factor, so I'm going to have to try to do what I can to keep them separated for sure. They were really good tonight with their teamwork. Kelly and all of the Nightmare Fuel guys, they're all incredible. I'm just going to have to put my best effort forward and keep my head down and hopefully pull off this championship that I feel like I've definitely been due for a little bit here.
Going for the redemption of Season 9 when I thought he was going to get it done there. Gavin, you're set up to go for that redemption run. Before we let you go, though, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Yeah, just first and foremost, want to give all glory to God. Want to shout out all the family and friends watching. I know I got a lot of texts that I just saw on my phone pop up. So I want to thank them for all their support. They do so much to keep me going and keep my head down and keep me focused. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I want to shout out all the admins, everyone for what they do. They do such a great job. All the competitors, such a great league, such a great competitive group of guys. I want to shout out you guys last for doing such a great broadcast. You guys produce a great broadcast for these guys, and I'm proud to be a racer.
Well, that will be your winner here tonight, the first race of the championship round. Victory Lane calls the name of Gavin Rogers. Gavin, congratulations on this win. Enjoy it, and good luck next week at Homestead, and good luck going for that championship.
Appreciate it, boys.
As we move from Victory Lane, we go down to second place to talk to the driver who enters tonight trying to be the reigning defending champion. He's going to have to do a lot next week to go for this championship and become another driver who goes back to back. John, you come away second. Those fleeting laps at the end, you were leading for a little bit, Then you saw Rogers catching up. What was going through your mind there in those final laps, seeing then Yingling closing in on you, trying to take second away?
Yeah, just going in, I saw we were about halfway through the stint, about 80 laps, and then there was 80 to go. So I was like, okay, I think it's about a good time to pit. And Jared had come in a couple laps before, and I don't know, I just thought splitting it would be the play. And honestly, I thought the other guys would have agreed with that more and come in right after. But even once I saw me and Jared had over about a 10-second lead, I was like, oh, okay, the tires will even out, like it'll be fine. Then we got caught up behind some lappers, and that really sucked for Jared, gave him some damage, but yeah, that sucked for him and really got us all kind of stuck together. And from there, I don't really know if it would have changed the outcome of the race getting held up, but Gavin was just so quick. Larry was so quick on the about 10, 15 lap newer tires. So I did my best to try and defend it, but the tires were just too strong. If we were on even sets, I think I could have held Gavin off at least, maybe even got the win out of it, but just that tire difference was too much to overcome. But yeah, those bonus points are going to go a long way for him. So congrats to him on the win. It was an awesome battle all night. And it's cool to see it come down to strategy. It wasn't like a wreck fest or anything like that. So overall, it was a super fun night. And we're going to look forward to next week. And just kind of looking at the points, I see you get 5 bonus points for winning the race. So, I mean, obviously, like any week, the goal is to go out and win, but we're going to have to make it happen next week, I think.
Well, John, I mean, right now on screen, we have the replay showing of you and Vincent going back and forth with side by side for over 20 laps to start this race off. Take us back to those opening laps. What was going through your mind trying to find a way to get by the 51, or was there any thought of we're just staying here for as long as we can?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know what to expect going into the race, and getting stuck on the outside that I hadn't really practiced much, except when I'm missing the corner and sliding up there. I knew there wasn't that much grip, but I had something figured out where I could just carry the momentum. I was running like 5th gear for that run, and I'm very glad that caution came out when it did, because I just scorched my tires running that top line. And I mean, honestly, I don't know what I would have done differently. I just hadn't had the exact practice and stuff of running on the top for that long, so I didn't know what the tires were going to do. But like you said, I think my goal there was just defend, because if I let Vinny by, then I'm just going to be defending for the next guy, and then the next guy, and then the next guy. So I knew I had to try and defend that spot as long as I could, and just hope a hole would open up or I'd be able to clear Vinny. But yeah, that caution really saved us tonight.
Well, it was a blast to watch that run and the battles that you had this evening. But next week, it's Homestead. Similar to last season, it was the final race where you got to hoist the championship for season 10, here for season 11. What's the confidence heading to this course?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot more than I was last season. It seems like the update and just the track surface updates, the bump maps, tire model, aero, everything that they've done so far has just helped me with this car, I believe. I don't know if I'm just the first to figure some things out and they're just trying to catch up, or if this car just comes more naturally how it's set up now. But I'm really hoping there's some big changes with the track. I need to go do some more practice. I know they did a new rework and stuff there, and it looks awesome. So I'm sure the car's going to look great on the broadcast next week. So looking forward to that. But yeah, just overall, it's time to top off a season. I feel like I'm going to be disappointed if I don't come out the champion here, and it really sucked to see Vinny get taken out. That really puts him out of the fight, and I was looking forward to going back and forth with him all night. I felt like he was my closest competition all season, so I really feel for him on that. I mean, it just kind of put a damper on the night seeing him get taken out, but at the same time, not that it makes my job any easier, but I think he was going to be my prime just competition next week, and I'm sure he still will be. But Gavin really picked it up. Honestly, coming in, I was like, his tire saving hasn't been the best all season, so I didn't know how he was going to hold on, but he had it tonight. He had something figured out, and he got it done. Just congrats to him again. It's going to be an awesome fight. We went 1, 2, 3. So yeah, the points are going to be close, and it's going to be a fun battle.
They certainly are close. They've just been updated. John, what your final thoughts on the points, and as well your final thank yous on this next question? But you're just 3 points back. How much does that help you, knowing it's just 3 points the difference between you and Gavin heading into next week? And the floor is yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, well, last season I came in 3 back going in, and we saw how that came out. So that little confidence boost. I'm a little closer than I thought I was going to be. So 3 points, that's the win. That's honestly what we got to go out and do. So That's the goal. And we're going to see if we can go finish that. But gotta thank you guys for putting the broadcast on. It's going to be super fun to go watch that. Gotta thank Grillis Graphics for the awesome paint scheme and stuff we've had all season. I gotta thank everybody at Nightmare Field. Once again, I was feeling for Vincent Sora tonight. It just really sucked to see how that went down. But yeah, so thank you guys.
Well, that will be second place finisher here tonight. The number 1 of John Forbes. Going to go back to back. We'll find out next week. But for tonight, John, congratulations and good luck hunting for that second championship.
Thank you.
As we move from second place, we'll go down to third to talk to also the third competitor in the championship who still has a mathematical real chance for a championship. We have Larry Yingling with us. Larry, third place here tonight. You were trying to do the quick rundown. You just ran out of time for yourself, but how are you feeling coming away third after a night where we really didn't know what to expect for ourselves?
Feeling pretty good. I'll definitely take third. I came into this race thinking last time we ran here, I had a lot of issues, and I think I barely just got a top 10, and I did a couple dozen laps earlier just to figure out my brakes. And I felt pretty good, and I knew I should hopefully have a pretty good shot at top 5. Sucks that happened to Vinny. I think it was that yellow I took too, then I really just kept track position the rest of the race.
Yeah, taking 2 tires. That was a call that we knew it was going to help on track position. Were you surprised on how well they survived throughout the whole long run when it was just you and Jarrett that took 2 tires and everyone else was on 4?
Kinda, but other races, people take 2, and you would think they really just fall off at certain tracks, but they don't. So I think there was a few cautions started the race, so I knew they weren't pretty bad, but I was surprised that people still took 2 at the end of the race there and had very old lifts.
Well, Larry, there's just one more race left. You're trying to go for a crazy to say 4th championship. You are 4 points back from the lead position entering into Homestead. How are you feeling knowing that the gap's just, for some they would say small, it might be massive for others, but how are you feeling knowing you're just 4 points back with just one race left?
Definitely anything can happen. I can be 12 points ahead and just a restart or something, just like Ryan last season. Yeah, anything can happen. Just gotta be fast, of course. I do like Homestead, so I think I should be pretty good there.
Well, we're excited to see how well you run next week, Larry. Before we let you go, though, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Definitely shout out my teammates this race, Ryan Kelly and Brian McCann, and Kevin Hash Brown on the box. And my sponsors, Cody Glenn Cox Music, Port City Cards and Muffin Sports Cards on Instagram, and Sim Precision Prints for your 3D printing needs. And big shout out to you guys as always, and looking forward to Homestead.
Can't wait for it. That'll be the 67 of Larry Yingling coming away third here tonight and leaving third in points. Larry, congratulations on your run here this evening and good luck next week.
Thank you, sir.
As we move away from our interviews, we'll take a look at our unofficial results. A lot of highs and lows here tonight. The biggest low, Vincent Sora coming away 19th here tonight, but the other championship runners, they finish 1, 2, 3. Gavin Rogers leaving here tonight with just a 3-point buffer over John Forbes, 4 points over Larry Yingling, and 21 points over Vincent Sora. Ryan Kelly gonna end this evening with a 4th place finish with Jared Tallmadge 5th. 6 was Cedric Hunter in the 13. Brian P. Johnson, even with all of his ups and downs today, will take 7th. 8th goes to the 22 of Colby DiCarlo. GT Rosario takes 9th, and Ross Tatum 10th. Only 8 drivers finished this race on the lead lap. Robert, it certainly was an interesting up and down even. I feel like interesting's our word of the night. But man, the drivers that were outside looking in of our top 10, shocked on where they finished.
Yeah, it's shocked where they finished. But, I think the big storyline of coming out of Richmond here tonight, well, 2 storylines, ladies and gentlemen. One, Rogers finally getting that win, got the pole, got the win, showed how to run this race. Congratulations to him. He's going into Homestead, fight for that championship. with a good momentum, in points and putting himself up there in the top. But then the second storyline I think taken out of here tonight is Ungoffley for 19th place there. Vincent Sora, had one hell of a season, and unfortunately it's not going to look pretty unless something drastically happens next week at Homestead. His championship bid is going to come to an end here, Sam.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating. It's sad, kind of similar to the way it was last year when Vincent Sora wasn't able to capitalize on a championship run. He ultimately won at Homestead last week. We'll see if 51 can do that 2 seasons in a row to have the last win of the season. But if you look at the other 3, the numbers that are lining up, I mean, it's kind of showing out for those top 3 drivers. All have, if you look at number wise, they've got scenarios that are lining up for them. I mean, Gavin Rogers entering tonight, it's he's going for his first championship. He finally got his first pole tonight. He got his first win of the season here tonight. Can he grab his first championship next week? We'll see if that number aligns. John Forbes, like he said, he's behind in the same number that he was last season when he took the championship, just 3 points behind. Can he get himself back into victory lane or back into a championship hoisting mode? Third place, Larry Yingling, he's going for championship number 4, and he's 4 points back. You gotta love when the numbers line up for scenarios. It's always a blast. But if you want to see others' numbers lining up, well, we've got ourselves more racing action next week as we've head to Michigan Monday night for the Trinity Racing League, as those drivers get to take the Xfinity B car on iRacing. They're going to test out that 2-mile course. It's going to be a lot of space to work around. We'll see how well they can keep it underneath them. And then we're right back here next week to finish out season 11 of the WSSR VRS Cup Series. The last race, who takes the championship crown? Over 48 drivers attempted, but only one driver gets the chance to hoist that championship. That championship will be made by Sim Precision Prints. Go check out Sim Precision Prints, Trophy Smack, GTR, simulators, and VRS, Virtual Racing School. Thank you for being amazing sponsors here today. But Robert, any final thoughts before we call it an evening here on Wednesday?
Nope. It's been a long season. It's been 19 weeks. These guys been battling, grinding through the season. Different tracks, different style, different updates from iRacing. Drivers showing up, some drivers not showing up. Well, we crown a championship 20 weeks after next week. It's going to be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. But like Sam said, if you don't want to wait for that kind of action, we'll be back Monday night with the Trinity Racing League at Michigan with the B cars. Very interesting to see what that track's going to hold there, Sam. But, until then, hopefully everybody has a great rest of their week.
49 drivers in total have raced here in the WSSR VRS Cup Series for season 11. We got to 16 that made it into the playoffs. We cut it to 12, to 8, to finally our final 4. Tonight concludes. Gavin Rogers gets his first win and puts us in a position where 3 drivers are just 4 points away from one another. Just one race left to see who gets to hoist the crown and say they are a champion of the WSSR VRS Cup Series. Does it go to the new champ? Does it go to last season's champion? Or does Larry Yingling submit himself as one of the greatest of all time in the WSSR? You'll have to find out next week here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Miami Homestead is the conclusion. If you can't wait until then, we'll see you Monday night. We get to see the Trinity Racing League, Michigan, 2 miles, 4, 5 wide. Who will survive? We will find out on our next Freaky Fast broadcast.